I am Liam, 4 months pregnant, and apparently one life-changing decision away from losing my sanity. All I wanted was a muffin. One stupid, innocent cinnamon crumble muffin. But no, the universe took one look at my craving and said, "You know what? Let's emotionally destroy him today." I swear I'd only stepped out for a muffin, not a life-altering crisis. But the moment I smelled it, that scent, my brain short-circuited. Dark cedar, warm smoke, heartbreak. My heart froze so fast I could hear the ice cracking. That scent belonged to Davin, my alpha, my mate, the father of the baby rolling inside me like a tiny ninja, and currently, the alpha I was running from. My whole body went rigid. "Oh, great," I muttered under my breath. The universe really said surprise today. I ducked behind the cafe counter like a guilty gremlin, clutching my small belly with one hand and a muffin with the other because priorities. My baby pawed anxiously inside me. He missed Davin. Well, too bad I did not. Not after what I saw. Not after what I heard. He can't find me. He can't. I'm not ready. What if what the maid said was true? What if he killed Ren? What if I'm next? What if... Then I heard it. That voice. "Liam, sweetheart, I know you're here." My soul straight up left my body. No warning, no apology. Just poof, gone. "Seriously?" I hissed quietly to the universe. "A little break? No? Okay." His footsteps were careful, measured, the way an alpha moves when approaching their mate. I internally screamed. My baby, traitor that he is, wagged his metaphorical tail. I slowly peeked over the counter, just a little, and immediately ducked again. Too tall, too handsome, too heartbreakingly familiar. Yep, definitely Davin. I grabbed my bag, shoved the muffin into my mouth like an animal, and prayed to any god listening that I wouldn't die stupidly with crumbs on my chin. I sprinted out the back door like an over-caffeinated squirrel that had watched too many action movies. "I'm pregnant, not fragile," I hissed to myself while almost tripping over a trash bin. "I can run, I can hide, I can... Ouch, okay, maybe not that fast." My baby whined at me. He hated running from Davin. I didn't have the luxury of trusting instincts anymore. Not after what I learned about Ren. Not after the maid whispered that Davin had shot him. Not after I saw photos of Davin and Ren, all soft smiles and old love. Was I next? Was this baby next? I couldn't gamble on hope. Not with a tiny life fluttering inside me. By the time I reached the cheap taxi stand near the cafe, I had a stitch in my side and was panting like I'd run a marathon uphill in emotional trauma. I booked the nearest remote hotel cabin, paid extra for the quickest driver, told him I liked forests, silence, and not being murdered. He didn't ask follow-up questions. Smart man. When we finally arrived, I rushed into the cabin, wooden walls, a soft rug, thick blankets, and the private forest trail hidden from the main road. Perfect for hiding from an alpha hunter. Perfect for panicking in peace. Perfect for crying into the pillow and whispering into the darkness. "You'd kill me too, wouldn't you?" My chest squeezed painfully. The baby shifted, sensing my fear. "Sorry," I whispered, stroking my belly. "I'm trying. I promise I'm trying." I curled into a ball on the bed, hugging my knees and my bump, letting silent tears fall. It wasn't just betrayal. It was heartbreak, the kind that sucked every bit of warmth out of your bones. I loved him, stupidly, deeply, disastrously loved him, which made everything hurt so much more. Night fell quickly. The kind of night where the air feels too still, like the world is holding its breath. I forced myself to breathe normally. In, out. Like my therapist always said in those coping with alpha drama pamphlets. Then, a sound. A soft knock on the cabin door. My entire body stiffened. No, not possible. Nobody knew I was here, except apparently... Liam. The voice broke through the door, low and warm and heartbreakingly soft. "Davin. Open the door. Please." My heart plummeted straight into my stomach. He found me. Of course he did. He was an alpha. My alpha. I shuffled backward, palms sweaty, heart thundering against my ribs. How do you know I'm here? I asked through the door, voice shaking. There was a brief silence, then a quiet, painful chuckle. Liam, he said softly, you love me so much that even when hiding, you ended up choosing my hotel. My jaw dropped. Oh my God, I blurted. I did not choose your hotel. I chose the cheapest cabin available. Sweetheart, he murmured, this entire property is mine. What? My life flashed before my eyes, and it was mostly me making stupid decisions. I groaned so loudly the door rattled. This is why people say rich alphas are a problem. Liam, Davin whispered, voice cracking now. Please, let me see you. His scent seeping through the cracks in the door, warm, familiar, devastating, made my heart twist in too many directions. No, I choked. You'll just try to hurt me, or my baby. A beat of cold silence. Then he spoke, voice raw and breaking apart. Our baby. My breath stuttered. That child is ours, Liam, and I would die before letting anything harm you or him. I squeezed my eyes shut. My baby whimpered. Please, he said again, tell me why you ran. Tell me what terrified you so much you thought hiding was your only choice. I pressed my forehead to the door, tears dripping silently. Because you did it once, I whispered. You killed Ren. The silence on the other side was sharp, deep, painful. Then, Liam, open the door. His voice cracked, and something inside me cracked with it. Why? I whispered. So you can finish what you started? No, he said immediately, voice fierce. So I can finally break the chains someone wrapped around your heart. My throat burned. Liam, he said, gentler now. You're scared. I hear it. I smell it. And it's killing me. My palm pressed flat against the wooden door, his pressed back from the other side. Just a thin barrier between us, one that felt suddenly too small. Please, he whispered. I can explain everything. I swallowed hard. My heart was beating so loudly I was sure he could hear it. Davin, I whispered. Yes, sweetheart. If you hurt me, I swear I'll haunt you. He let out a shaky laugh, painful, relieved, so very Davin. I'd let you, he murmured, as long as I get to see you again. My knees wobbled, my resolve melted, and with trembling fingers, I turned the lock. The door slowly creaked open. Davin stood there, eyes soft, shoulders tense, scent aching with longing. He looked at me like I was air, like he had been drowning, and I hated how my heart reacted. Liam, he breathed, stepping forward before stopping himself, giving me space. You ran, he whispered, and I thought my world ended. Yeah, well, I sniffed. Welcome to my world. The corner of his mouth twitched. There you are, he said softly. My stupid, beautiful mate. I blushed, like an idiot. Don't call me beautiful, I muttered. I'm crying, and probably smell like anxiety. He stepped forward, slowly, eyes warm. You smell like home. Something inside me shattered completely. And that was the beginning of the truth unraveling. I always thought cornered like a terrified squirrel was just a dramatic expression people used. Turns out, nope. It's real. And it's me. Except I'm a pregnant squirrel. The door slammed shut behind Davin with a soft click, and my entire soul jolted. I backed away so fast I hit the table, grabbed the nearest object as a weapon, and immediately regretted my life choices when I realized it was a wooden spoon. A whole wooden spoon. Fantastic. I was going to fight a trained alpha, a hunter, with a utensil used to stir soup. Stay back, I warned, holding the spoon like I was some kind of kitchen warrior. I am armed and hormonal. Davin entered slowly, hands raised in a non-threatening way, his voice heartbreakingly gentle. You don't have to defend yourself from me, Angel. Oh no. He used the word, angel. My baby whimpered, tail wagging. Traitor. Well, I snapped, pointing the spoon at his chest, the last Omega who trusted you ended up dead, so excuse me for being cautious. Davin froze like I'd slapped him with a brick. You think I killed Ren? His voice was so soft, so cracked that guilt stabbed my chest, but I shoved it away. Not falling for charm, scent, or stupid, pretty alpha eyes. I tightened my grip on the spoon. Yes, I said bluntly. I think you killed him, and that maid said you did, and the pictures looked like you loved him, and he was pregnant, and then he died. So, what am I supposed to think, huh? His eyes widened, hurt, but he took a small step closer. I immediately hissed like a feral cat. One more step, and I swear to the god of all wooden spoons. He stopped mid-step. Okay, sweetheart, he whispered. I'll stay right here. And the tenderness in that sentence nearly broke me. My hands were trembling. The spoon clattered slightly from the shaking. Davin noticed. He took a slow breath, eyes locked on me. Not on the spoon, not on my stance. On me. Liam, he said softly, put the spoon down, please. Your hands are shaking. Of course they're shaking, I snapped. You're an alpha hunter who might have killed someone. You know, minor details. Liam, and now you want to kill me and my baby too. The words burst out of me before I could stop them. The cabin went silent, painfully silent. That child is our baby, he repeated quietly. You think I'd ever harm you? Or them? His scent, usually warm cedar and smoke, turned into something else. Something sharp. Something devastated. I blinked back tears that betrayed me by falling anyway. I don't know anymore, I whispered. His face crumpled. That was the best word for it. Crumpled, like his entire world folded in on itself. He took one slow step forward. I didn't move. Couldn't. Liam, he breathed, I have never, will never, hurt you. Or our child. I'd cut off my own hand before laying it on either of you. Then why did Ren die? I demanded, loud but shaky. Why was he pregnant? Why were you with him? Why did the maid say she saw you shoot him? His eyes widened in horror. You believe that? He whispered. You actually believe I killed him? Yes, I shouted, because that's what it looked like. He stared at me like his heart was slowly ripping open. Then very softly, you really think I could do that? I flinched. He noticed. His chest heaved in one painful breath, and for a moment I saw something raw, terrified behind his eyes. Not anger, not rage, fear. Fear of losing me. Davin closed his eyes just for a moment, like he was trying not to break in front of me. But he broke anyway. When he opened them again, his lashes were wet. Liam, he whispered, voice shaking. Tell me who put this fear in you. Tell me who twisted this story. He stepped closer, but slower this time. So slow I could see every muscle move beneath his shirt. Not hunter-like, not threatening, just shattering. He lowered himself, not kneeling entirely, not standing. A stance of surrender. I'm begging you, he said. Tell me who made you think I'm a monster. His scent, anguish mixed with desperate love, filled the cabin. My chest squeezed painfully. I hated that it made me want to cry more. I hated the ache that pulled me forward. It was... My voice cracked. The maid. She told me everything. She said she saw you shoot Ren. Davin stared at me like the ground had been ripped out beneath him. The maid, he repeated slowly, incredulously. Liam, that maid works for my cousin. I blinked. What? My cousin, he said, voice low and trembling with fury, not at me, but at someone else. He's the one who wanted Ren dead. I stared, heart thudding so loudly it echoed in my ears. He continued, voice raw, and he wanted you next. A chill ran up my spine so fast I shivered. What? I whispered. He wanted Ren out of the picture because Ren's baby would have been next in line for inheritance. He swallowed, throat visibly tight. You became the next target. My spoon hand shook violently. And the maid lied to you, Davin said, stepping forward another inch. Because she works for him. Because they wanted you scared, alone, vulnerable, easy to take. I stared at him, mouth open, world spinning. But I saw pictures, I stammered. You and Ren, you looked happy. Davin's expression softened, but in the saddest way possible. I cared about him, he said quietly. I had a happy family once. The spoon slipped from my hand and clattered to the floor. He immediately reacted, stepping forward in raw panic. Are you hurt? Did you trip? Why do you care? I whispered. He froze, then walked toward me with such slow, reverent steps it made my chest hurt. Because I love you more than my own breath, Liam, he said, voice trembling. Because when I couldn't find you, I felt like someone ripped my heart straight out of my chest. My throat burned. And when I smelled your fear in this cabin, he whispered, reaching up but stopping inches from touching me. It tore me apart. He lowered his voice. You ran from me, he said, eyes glossy. And instead of being angry, all I could think was, what did I do wrong? What scared you so deeply you thought you had to protect yourself from the one man who would die before hurting you? My vision blurred. And when you said I wanted to kill you, his voice broke completely. Liam, I can't breathe hearing that. I sank back against the table, shaking. Davin took another step forward. Let me hold you, he whispered. Not to trap you, not to claim you, just to prove that you're safe, that you've always been safe with me. My chest squeezed tight. My baby whined so softly inside me. I choked out. I don't know what to believe. That's okay, he whispered. You don't have to believe me yet. He reached out, slowly, painfully, until his fingers brushed mine. But let me earn it. I inhaled sharply. His voice was a promise and a plea all at once. Let me be the man you thought I was before all this. Let me protect you the way I failed to protect him. My heart cracked. Not fully, not enough to trust, but enough to hurt, enough to hope, and that was the worst part. The cabin felt too quiet, too small, too breathless. I hovered by the window like some confused squirrel deciding whether to jump or combust on the spot. And then Davin, alpha hunter, giant wall of muscle, Mr. Scary Glowing Eyes himself, did something I had never expected. He sank to his knees, just dropped, like the universe punched the life out of him. Liam, he whispered, voice thick and raw. I didn't kill Ren. I saved him. I blinked. My brain absolutely sputtered like a dying light bulb. I opened my mouth. Nothing. No words. Great. 4 months pregnant and apparently also 4% functional. Davin's hands trembled as he rested them on his thighs. Ren was attacked twice. The first time it was a warning. The second time, his jaw tightened. It wasn't. My throat tightened. But my sarcasm? Oh, that survived nuclear winters. So, wait. You're telling me the maid who gave me the entire murder mystery monologue was wrong? He lifted his eyes, glassy, devastated, and something painful twisted inside my chest. I couldn't look away. You think I would hurt someone who was carrying my child? Davin whispered. You think I could live with myself if I ever touched him like that? I squirmed. For once, sarcasm failed me. Tragic. I moved him, Davin continued, voice cracking. Secretly. I hid him because someone wanted him dead. He didn't want it public. He didn't want the pack to panic. He swallowed. He was so scared he barely slept. My breath stuttered. I'd imagined so many things while running. Davin hunting me through the dark forest with glowing eyes, dramatic lightning behind him, probably holding a murder knife. But this? Davin kneeling, voice raw with grief? I hadn't expected that. I rubbed my arms. So, he wasn't murdered by you? Never, Davin said, broken. I opened my mouth. Well, that's awkward. For me. Davin pushed a palm against the floor like he needed grounding, like the past was grabbing him by the throat. My cousin found out, he whispered. His voice went hollow. He followed me one evening when I went to take Ren food. I didn't know. I was inside the forest checking the perimeter. It took me 15 minutes to circle back. I swallowed hard. 15 minutes. That was nothing. A quick snack, a dramatic cry, one emotional breakdown and a bathroom break, but in those 15 minutes... Davin's jaw trembled. Ren thought it was me at the door. He always opened quickly because he didn't like making me wait. He laughed once, a broken, humorless sound. He used to say, "Your impatience scares me more than your claws." My heart slowly dropped into my stomach. Davin's voice lowered, rough and ragged. They shot him the moment the door opened. No questions, no warning. He exhaled shakily. He shielded his stomach because he thought they were after the baby. My hand flew to my own bump. My little peanut kicked gently, like sensing my distress. Davin dragged his shaking hand over his face. I heard the shot from the trees. I ran. His voice cracked. By the time I got there, Ren was still breathing. Barely. My eyes stung. I carried him inside. Held him. Davin's shoulders shook. He told me to protect the baby. He thought he could still be saved. He thought... His voice shattered. I watched him go cold in my arms. Silence swallowed the cabin. No sarcasm, no snark, no witty backtalk, just pain. I whispered, "And the baby?" Davin closed his eyes. Gone. Something inside me folded in on itself. He wasn't just grieving a lover. He was grieving an entire family. My chest ached so loudly I felt it in my bones. I sank to the floor in front of him, knees weak. Davin, I didn't know. My voice came out small. I thought you... I know what you thought. He looked up, eyes rimmed red. And I don't blame you. You saw the photos. You heard a story without the truth. You were scared. And you ran. I swallowed. You chased me. I would chase you across kingdoms if I had to, Davin whispered. You carry my child. You are my home. My breath hitched. You can't say things like that when I'm already emotional. I will cry. He lifted a trembling hand and touched my cheek. Then cry into me. Oh, of course he had to say something devastatingly romantic. I sniffed aggressively. Stop being poetic. I'm trying to stay mad. You're adorable when you try, Davin murmured. Stop. Compliments are illegal right now. Then arrest me, he whispered, but don't leave me. I groaned, covering my face. Why do you speak like a walking romance novel? It's exhausting. That's because I'm in love with you, Davin said simply. My heart absolutely betrayed me. It fluttered like a startled pigeon. I sat on the cabin floor, legs crossed, staring at the alpha I'd been running from. My chest ached with guilt. I cleared my throat. Tiny apology incoming. Davin watched me, gentle and open. I'm sorry, I whispered, lowering my eyes. I misunderstood you. I misjudged you. I panicked and assumed the worst. You were protecting your child, Davin said softly. I can't fault you for that. I nodded, wiping my cheek. I didn't want to die, and I didn't want my baby to die either. He cupped the back of my head, brushing his thumb over my temple. I would never let anything happen to you, he murmured. Not then. Not now. Not ever. My lips trembled. I thought you'd hate me for running. I could never hate you, Davin whispered. Even when you're shoving wooden spoons at me. I groaned. I was being dramatic. You were being brave. Stop making everything romantic. It's making me soft. Good. He leaned closer. Be soft with me. My cheeks heated. Ugh, My defenses are crumbling. Let them, Davin murmured, resting his forehead against mine. You're safe with me, and our baby is safe with me. My chest squeezed. I didn't want to hurt you. I can risk myself, but I can't risk our baby. He closed his eyes like the words healed something deep inside him. I lost a family once, he whispered. I won't lose another. I touched his cheek gently. I'm sorry, I thought you were a murderer. Davin let out a shaky laugh. It's all right, sweetheart. No, seriously, I had a whole escape plan. I know, he said dryly. Your suitcase was half socks. Listen, I said defensively, panic packing is a skill. Not everyone can do it. He smiled softly, the first real smile since stepping into the cabin. Then quietly he added, Liam, thank you for coming back to me. I exhaled shakily. You didn't exactly give me space to run. I'll never give space for doubt again, Davin murmured. I'll protect you. I'll protect our child. And I will love you until the world ends. I groaned dramatically. Ugh, stop. You're making me emotional again. Davin pulled me into a trembling, grateful embrace. You're my heart, he whispered into my hair. Don't run from me again. I clutched his shirt, voice soft. I won't. Not anymore. And for the first time since the cafe, I felt safe, truly safe. I sat on the floor beside Davin, legs folded under me, one hand protectively over my small but definitely there baby bump. The cabin was warm because of the fireplace, but my heart was currently stuck somewhere between emotional meltdown and I need snacks immediately. Davin looked at me like he was witnessing the northern lights, like I was something holy. His gaze dropped to my belly, softening into something so raw it made my throat tighten. That's my child, Davin murmured, voice low, almost reverent. My world inside you. My entire body tensed. Oh no, not this. Not the soft whispers. Not the poetic nonsense. I held up a hand like a stop sign. Don't do the romantic thing. I'm trying really hard to stay mad, and you're ruining it. Davin's lips twitched. You're adorable when you fail. Excuse you. I glared at him, cheeks heating. I am successfully mad. I am a storm, a hurricane, a kitten in a mood, Davin said softly, brushing his thumb along my jaw. I sputtered. I hate you. You love me. I hate how you know that. His smile was small, aching. I know everything about you, even the things you think you hide. Yeah? I raised a brow. Like the fact that I was about to throw a very expensive hotel lamp at your head before you opened the door? Yes. Davin leaned in, brushing the tip of his nose against my cheek. And I would have thanked the lamp for touching you before I did. My soul exited my body. Oh my God, stop talking. But Davin didn't. His hand drifted, slow, gentle, to my belly. I stiffened. I need to feel him, Davin whispered. Just once. I swallowed, hard. His hand was warm, large, steady. It rested right where the baby shifted, soft flutters like tiny whispers. He's strong, Davin murmured, voice reverent. I nodded weakly. Well, yeah, he kicks my ribs like he's trying to break out of an escape room. Davin chuckled, though his eyes glistened. You're carrying my child, he said quietly. You're giving me a second chance at a family. You have no idea what that means to me. I looked down. I didn't run because I wanted to hurt you, I murmured. I ran because I was scared I'd lose him. Davin's breath hitched, and with a shaky exhale, I added in a tiny, humiliating voice, and I didn't want you to lose my another baby either. Davin's shoulders trembled. He leaned in, forehead resting against my temple. Sweetheart, I don't deserve you. Correct, I said immediately. He snorted softly. And yet, you're mine. I rolled my eyes, blushing like a furnace. Shut up. Silence settled, soft, not heavy. the kind that held, not hurt. I took a deep breath and pulled my knees closer, bracing myself. I wasn't scared for myself, I said finally. Davin turned to me, expression quiet and steady, listening. I can fight, I continued. I can yell, kick, bite, throw shoes, the usual. Yes, Davin said dryly. I still have the bruise from the coffee mug you threw at me. It slipped. It was aimed, Davin corrected. Details. I waved a hand before softening. Point is, I can protect myself. His jaw tightened slightly. Pride, worry, love all tangled together. But the baby? My voice dropped. I can't risk him. I placed a hand over my belly again, instinctively protective, instinctively terrified. I kept thinking, what if you snapped? What if the stories were true? What if something happened like with Ren and... My voice cracked. I just couldn't stay. Davin reached out and cupped my chin gently. Liam, I snapped my head away. Don't flirt with me while I'm traumatized. I'm not flirting, Davin said softly. I'm worshipping what I almost lost. I froze. You ran, Davin continued, thumb brushing my cheek. Not because you're weak. Not because you're foolish. You ran because you're brave. My breath hitched. You keep saying that like it'll erase what I did. It doesn't erase anything, he murmured, but it explains everything. He leaned closer, voice low and trembling. You're brave because you protected our child, even from the person you loved most. I stared at him. You're making it very hard to keep my walls up. Good. His nose brushed mine. Let them fall. Let me inside. Davin. I swallowed. I thought you'd kill me. That, Davin said gently, is the only thing in this world I could never do. My eyes brimmed, vision blurring. But Ren died, and you thought history would repeat itself, he whispered. I understand. He squeezed my fingers. You didn't run because of hate. You ran because of fear. And love. Both. I let out a shaky breath. I'm sorry. You don't need to apologize. I do. My voice trembled. I believed someone else instead of you. I saw shadows where there was light. I let fear control me. Davin brushed a kiss to my knuckles. Fear doesn't make you weak, he whispered. It makes you human. That's a very annoying and poetic thing to say, I muttered. I only say poetic things when you're holding my child. I flushed so hard I could have powered the cabin's electricity. Davin, I swear, stop being romantic. It's exhausting. No, Davin murmured. What's exhausting is how much I love you and how hard you try to deny it. I do not deny anything, excuse you. You denied me, he whispered. You denied my scent, my touch, my home, but you never denied your feelings. I inhaled sharply. Fine, I muttered. Maybe I didn't. Exactly. Shut up. I love you too. Davin. He laughed softly, quiet, relieved, still shaking. Then he pulled me into his arms, holding me like something fragile and precious. I melted despite myself. The baby nudged gently like he felt everything, relief, exhaustion, craving warmth. You terrify me, I whispered into Davin's chest. You make me feel too much. Then feel, Davin murmured. I'll hold every part of you, even the scared ones. We stayed wrapped together for a long moment, the fire crackling behind us like a protective heartbeat. Then Davin pulled back slightly, cupped my face, and pressed our foreheads together. Listen to me, he whispered. His voice was steady now, strong, fierce, grounding, an alpha's voice. I will protect you, with everything I am. I swallowed, breath trembling. No secrets, Davin continued. No hiding, no lies, never again. His thumb brushed my cheekbone. I lost one family. His eyes burned as he whispered, I will not lose another. My lips parted. Davin. This child, our child, will be born in safety, surrounded by love, not fear. My eyes stung painfully. I don't deserve... You deserve the world, Davin said softly, and you deserve me giving it to you. I shook my head, tears falling. You say things like that and expect me not to cry? I do expect you to cry, Davin murmured. I'll wipe every tear. You are impossible. You are mine. I let out a breathless laugh, wiping my face. God, this baby is going to inherit your dramatic genes. And your sarcasm, Davin said. We're doomed. The poor child. The blessed child, Davin corrected. I sighed shakily, then leaned my forehead against his again. Then, I whispered softly, take me home. Davin exhaled like my words broke and healed him at once. I will, he murmured, and I will never let you run alone again. I closed my eyes, and for the first time in days, my heartbeat finally felt steady. Morning sunlight stretched across the pack house grounds as Davin drove through the tall gates. I sank lower in the passenger seat, one hand clamped over my belly, the other gripping a paper bag of emergency comfort pastries. I had never felt so exposed in my life. The pack house loomed large, familiar, but today it felt like walking into an exam I wasn't prepared for. People would stare, they'd whisper. They'd wonder why Davin's pregnant Omega had vanished for days and then returned looking like he'd run from a zombie apocalypse. I glared at the window. If anyone even breathes in my direction wrong, I swear I'll throw this muffin at them. Davin parked and turned to me with a soft smile. Let them look, he murmured, reaching over to take my shaky hand in his huge, steady one. You're mine, my mate, my Omega, my future. My entire face turned red. Oh, great, I muttered. The dramatic baby has been activated. Warning, possible over-romantic monologue incoming. Davin chuckled and leaned closer. I can monologue all day if it makes you blush like that. Shut up, I whispered, tugging my hood over my face. We stepped out. The cold air hit me first, then the stairs. Across the courtyard, pack members paused mid-step. Some gasped, some frowned, some whispered. My stomach knotted. Davin immediately shifted closer, a quiet growl lacing his presence. His hand slid around my waist, warm, protective, grounding. Anyone who judges you, Davin said softly, answers to me. I elbowed him. Stop threatening people before breakfast. Can't help it, Davin murmured. They're staring at what's mine. I blinked. Did you just growl at Mr. Thompson for looking? Yes. Davin, he's 82. And he looked too long. Oh my God. But secretly, the protectiveness soothed something deep and trembling inside me. We entered the pack house foyer, the familiar scent of woods, cinnamon, and old stories wrapped around me. Home, but not the way it used to be. I sucked in a breath. Davin noticed. Of course he noticed. He placed a hand at the small of my back. I'm right here, Davin whispered. I'm not leaving your side. I lifted a brow. You say that like it's supposed to make me feel better. Does it? Yes. And I hate that it does. Davin's lips curved. Good. We walked deeper inside, and every step felt like reclaiming something I thought I'd lost. Davin's fingers intertwined with mine, and this time, I didn't let go. Later that night, after the slow, tense unpacking and the long minutes where I kept expecting someone to yell at me for disappearing, everything finally settled. The hallways grew quiet. The pack house dimmed to its warm nighttime glow. I curled myself on the couch with a blanket, my feet stretched across Davin's lap like it was the most natural position in the world. Davin sat there like an ancient deity sculpted from steel and devotion, his hands resting gently on my ankles, thumbs massaging slow circles. I hated how good it felt, loved it, hated how much I loved it. I didn't look at him when I spoke. You hurt me, I murmured quietly, eyes fixed on the glowing fireplace. Davin's hands stilled, not hard, not tense, just still. I know, he whispered. And I know you didn't mean to, I said, voice small. But it still hurt. Davin lifted my foot carefully, pressing a kiss to the inside of my ankle. I choked on air. What are you doing, sir? Speaking, Davin replied softly, kissing again. In the only language you can't interrupt with sarcasm. Excuse you. Davin lifted his gaze, eyes soft in a way that made my chest twist almost painfully. Angel, I will spend my life making sure you never feel abandoned again. My lips parted, my breath snagged. That, I whispered, is so unfair. Why? Davin asked, thumb brushing my calf. Because now I can't stay mad. That's the idea. I huffed dramatically and pushed my hands into the blanket. You're really leaning into this romance arc. Yes, Davin murmured, because losing you once was enough for a lifetime. My heart squeezed. Davin continued, voice lower than a promise. I will never let shadows fall on you again, not without standing in front of them myself. I threw an arm over my face. Who gave you the right to talk like that? You did, Davin answered quietly. The moment you carried my child. My heart, my absolutely traitorous heart, fluttered. Stop it. No. Davin. Liam. His voice turned softer. I am yours. Every part of me. Even the broken ones. I peeked from behind my arm. Davin was looking at me like I was the sunrise after a lifetime of storms, and for the first time since this whole disaster began, warmth bloomed in my chest instead of fear. Fine, I whispered. I forgive you. Davin's shoulders sagged in relief. His eyes closed for a moment like a man finally breathing after drowning. I nudged his leg. But you still owe me 20 pastries and a foot massage. Done. And a kiss. Davin's eyes snapped open. Where? I blushed furiously. Not like that. Oh my God. Davin smirked. You're adorable. Shut up. I love you. Davin. But I was smiling into the blanket. It happened so suddenly I almost dropped the cookie I was eating. A sharp thump inside my belly made me freeze. Ow! What in the... I clutched my stomach. Your child is violent. Davin's head shot up from where he'd been reading. What happened? He kicked me, I gasped. For the first time. That little gremlin actually kicked me. Davin moved instantly closer, hands warm on my sides. Where? Right, here. Ow, he's doing it again. What is this? Boxing practice? Davin laughed softly, a sound full of awe and something heartbreakingly tender. Can I rolled my eyes dramatically. Yes, come feel your son attacking me. Davin placed his palm gently over my belly. And when the next tiny kick came, Davin's eyes widened, his breath hitched. Then something in him shattered and reformed all at once. He's strong, Davin whispered, voice thick. I grumbled. Strong enough to break my ribs if he keeps this up. No, Davin murmured, shaking his head. Not like that. He leaned closer, brushing his lips to my temple. He's strong. Like you. I blinked fast. Davin, stop. You carried him through fear, Davin whispered. You protected him even when you were running, even when you were breaking. He learned strength from you, Liam. My throat closed. You really don't stop, do you? No, Davin said softly. Not when it comes to loving you. I gripped Davin's shirt, pulling him closer without thinking. Davin? He rested his forehead against mine. Yes, sweetheart? I swallowed. I think we're going to be okay. Davin exhaled shakily, relief pouring out of him like a storm finally lifting. We will be, he murmured, because we're home, and because you came back to me. I closed my eyes, and for the first time since the nightmare began, I believed him. If anyone ever asked me what I expected from rebuilding trust, I would have said something normal. Like talking. Maybe a hug, possibly ice cream. What I did not expect was waking up to the sound of drilling, hammering, furniture scraping, and Davin swearing softly like a man installing security in a war zone. I shuffled into the living room, hair a disaster, one sock missing, belly sticking out like a moon. "What?" I croaked. "In the pregnant Omega hell is going on?" Davin looked up from the floor where he was installing. I blinked. Another safety latch. Another. He already installed 6, on one cabinet. "Good morning, sweetheart." Davin smiled, eyes soft. "Don't mind the noise." "Oh, I mind," I said. "I mind like someone who is one hormonal poke away from committing a felony." Davin rose, kissed my hair. "I'm baby-proofing." I stared. Davin. The baby isn't even born yet. He doesn't have crawling skills when born. He have legs. Eventually we'll start crawling. "Wow," I deadpanned. "Thank you for that biological revelation." Davin ignored my sarcasm completely and went back to screwing a hinge. I crossed my arms. "You're doing too much." "No," Davin said, tightening it more. "I'm doing what I should have done the second I mated you. Keeping you safe. Keeping him safe. Soft. Too soft. Too much." My chest pinched. "Davin, it's a baby, not a bomb." "Your safety," Davin said gently, "is non-negotiable." And then he had the nerve, the audacity, to walk over, cut my face, and kiss my forehead as if I wasn't trying to stay mad. "I'm making up," Davin murmured, "for every moment I failed you." My voice cracked despite my best efforts at sarcasm. "Stop being sweet. I hate it. My tears hate it." "You love it," Davin whispered. And unfortunately, I did. Terribly. Later that evening, I plopped into Davin's lap with all the grace of a tired wombat and crossed my arms dramatically. "We need to talk." Davin immediately straightened, one hand steadying my belly, the other gripping my waist as if I might fall and shatter like glass. "You have my full attention," he said softly. I cleared my throat. "I need you to know something." Davin's jaw tightened. He always expected the worst when I looked serious. The man was a powerful alpha in every other situation, but when it came to me, he was just a giant worried baby. "I thought," I said, voice low, "that you'd choose lies over me." A flicker, pain, guilt, fear crossed his eyes. "I thought," I continued, "that you'd keep secrets forever, and I can't. I can't live beside secrets, Davin. Not after everything." Davin cupped my cheeks, pulling me slightly closer. "Liam." His voice was a deep, trembling whisper. "My truth is simple." He pressed our foreheads together. "I love you, more than I loved my own pride, more than the past, more than the pack, more than anything that ever tried to destroy us." I melted like butter on a skillet. "Stop," I grumbled weakly. "I'm trying to sulk." "You're terrible at it." "I am an excellent sulker, thank you." "You're adorable when you pretend to be mad." I shoved his shoulder. "Davin, I swear." But Davin caught my hand, brought it to his lips, and kissed it. Slow, warm, worshipful. My hormones short-circuited. My heart tried to leap out of my chest. My baby rolled over and sighed dramatically like, "Finally, he's saying it properly." And Davin continued, voice quiet but steady. "I should have trusted you with the truth from the beginning. I should have shared the danger, not tried to shield you from it. Hiding things only put you in more pain." I swallowed hard. "I just wanted you to see me as strong," Davin whispered. "Not broken, not a failure, not the alpha who lost the people he loved." I leaned into him, cupping his jaw. "You forget," I said, "I didn't choose a perfect alpha." Davin blinked. "I chose you, the dramatic one, the protective one, the idiot who puts baby bumpers on everything." "You love me," Davin breathed. "Unfortunately," I muttered. "Yes." Davin kissed me, deep, slow, careful. And I, despite all snark and attitude, kissed him back like gravity made us. Night settled softly around us. The fire crackled. Davin tucked a blanket around me. I rolled my eyes. I'm pregnant, not made of snow. I know, Davin said, but you're my snow. That was terrible. Then you're my sunshine. Davin, my whole world. Stop. My forever. My throat tightened. Okay, I whispered. Fine, I'll allow romance tonight. Davin kissed my cheek. Thank you for forgiving me, he murmured. I sighed, leaning back against his chest. I didn't forgive you, I said. Davin tensed until I added softly. I chose you. That's different. That's more. Davin's arms wrapped around me in a protective, trembling embrace. I won't waste that, he whispered. You better not, I sniffed, because I'm tired and hormonal and too pregnant to find a new alpha. Davin laughed quietly. You won't need one, he promised. You'll only ever have me. I smiled into his chest. Good, because this baby already kicks like you. And Davin kissed my temple, voice soft as the night. He's ours, Liam, and nothing will take you from me again. I closed my eyes, and again, believed it. I had exactly 3 goals that morning. Eat my cereal, not cry for any hormonal reason, not think about murder, trauma, or Davin's extremely overpowered jawline. I was failing spectacularly at all 3. I stood by the wide window, staring at the early sunlight hitting the pack grounds. My 4-month bump made my oversized shirt puff out like I was smuggling a basketball, and without even realizing, I rubbed it in slow circles. Behind me, I heard footsteps, slow, confident, and belonging to exactly one dramatic, overprotective alpha. Before I could pretend I didn't care, strong arms slid around my waist from behind, pulling me gently into a warm chest. Davin. Of course. Who else walked like they owned the entire continent except the man who used to terrify me and now made me involuntarily blush every 12 minutes? His chin settled on my shoulder, warm breath brushing my neck. Everything that threatened us, he murmured, danger curling like smoke under his voice. It's gone. My heart did a weird flip. Not romantic. Definitely fear. Probably. Maybe. I stiffened. Gone as in gone? Or gone as in alpha-style gone, which is usually illegal and morally questionable. His lips brushed my ear. I made sure. Oh. Yep. That was absolutely the questionable kind. He pressed a kiss under my ear, slow and possessive enough to melt my spine. I collected the evidence and now they are in jail. They will never touch you. A shiver shot right through me. Stupid body. Stupid hormones. Stupid, gorgeous, violent alpha. Possessive much? I muttered, trying not to sound like I was combusting. He smiled against my skin. You like it? I scoffed, flustered. Excuse me. You do, he murmured, confidence dripping off every word. You like that you're mine. You like that I'd tear apart anyone who threatened you. Wow, I muttered. Someone is leaning a little too hard into the dramatic baby act today. He turned me gently, cupping my jaw with one large, warm hand. And you love every second of it. I swallowed. Maybe, I whispered, my cheeks betraying me and turning into warm tomatoes. His smile softened into something that made my knees do questionable things. Thought so. And just like that, I went from sarcastic omega to melted cheese on toast. I hid my face in his chest. Shut up, he kissed my hair. Never. I sighed and gave up, sinking fully into his warmth, because finally, I wasn't running. I was home. We were a family. And this time, nothing was tearing us apart.